What's good, you guys? We're back again with another video, and today we're here to continue my position rankings. Yesterday, well, a couple days ago, we did the shooting guards rankings. Now today we're going to do the small forwards rankings. A couple things I want to say is Kevin Durant won't be on this list. I believe he's been playing the forward position ever since he's been in Brooklyn. So like, it's just no point of having him on this list anymore, even though all his career we've been knowing him as a small forward. But I don't want to put him on this list. And I always hate when like people have like two players on the same team on like a position ranking list, but like for the Clippers, they changed their lineup so much. I just don't know where to put Paul George. So I just put him on this list because he's been a small forward his whole career, same with Kawhi. So there was no point in putting him anywhere else. But other than that, everybody else is where they should belong. So let's get into this video. Before we get into the video, actually, I want to say like, subscribe, share with your friends. We're, I believe, 30 subscribers away from reaching 500, and the channel's been doing very good lately. So shout out to y'all. But help me get to 500, man. And once we get to 500, I got something very special planned for us. So other than that, let's get into this video. So at number 10, we have Mikal Bridges. Now I know this might come as a surprise to a lot of people because a lot of people seen how Mikal ended off the season, how good he was them last like 30 games of the season once he became a Brooklyn Nets, and a lot of people seen that he played okay in the playoffs, so they're very excited for his next season, and so am I. But I just want to see a full season of Mikal before I like push this crazy pop, putting him over guys like Andrew Wiggins and DeMar DeRozan and Chris Middleton, guys that have been the same players for years. So at number 10, I have Mikal Bridges. I'm very excited for his season next year, though. I think he showed a lot of flashes in that last season. I mean, the second half of last season with his shot creation. That's something that we really didn't see. Like, it was a time when Book went out, I believe, from like December to February, and he was pretty bad when he had to be the main guy because DeAndre Ayton he's just going to do what he does. So when he had to be the main guy, he was pretty bad. But then as soon as he got to Brooklyn, I don't know what switched, but he just started hitting all of his shots, and he just looked very clean doing it. He looked like a decent #1 option in this league. And then with this team that they have, I'm very excited because I do think it's perfectly built around him. I'm hoping that we get a resurgence in Ben Simmons, because if we do get that, this is the perfect team for Ben Simmons, and him being the #1 option next to Ben Simmons is only going to bring his career up even more. So I'm excited for Mikal Bridges, and I'm loving what I'm seeing from him in Team USA basketball. So I can't wait to see what we see from Mikal Bridges next season. But right now I have him as the 10th best small forward in the league. At number 9, I have the NBA champion Andrew Wiggins. Now, it would have been pretty hard for me to put Mikal Bridges over Andrew Wiggins because I just think Andrew Wiggins is showing us a lot over these years in Golden State. And I do think before he had to leave because of his family issues, I think he was having another all-star season. So I can't put Mikal over him. I do think when we compare them as players, I do think Andrew Wiggins is the better scorer. I think they're pretty even on defense. I do think a lot of people might think Mikal clears on defense, but I just think one-on-one, I think Andrew Wiggins is one of the best. I think he's a better one-on-one defender. And like I said, going back to the offense, I just think he's more of a complete player on offense. And yeah, I'm gonna trust having Andrew Wiggins over Mikal Bridges, man. I like Andrew Wiggins more. I think he's a better player, and I think he can have another all-star type season next year if he stays healthy, no family problems. I'm happy that I'm hoping that those family problems are over, and if they're over, I do think he can have another all-star type season, because I do think he was getting to that last season. Him and Steph Curry started off the season very hot, and then they both got hurt, and that's when the Warriors just started losing a hell of games. But if they're both healthy, I think this team is another championship team, and I do think Andrew Wiggins is going to have a very good year, so I have him at 9. Now, number 8, I have DeMar DeRozan. Listen, those guys under him are very good players, but I put DeMar DeRozan over them guys just because of how elite he is as a scorer. I know a lot of people like to hate on DeMar DeRozan. I do think it's unwarranted hate. But as a scorer, man, DeMar DeRozan is one of the best we've ever seen, especially in this generation, one of the best we've ever seen. And I do think he's still in his prime. I just wish he wasn't on the Bulls, because the Bulls is just not a good team. But I do like how he kind of dialed his game back and let Zach LaVine be the #1 guy on his team, which they should have did a couple years ago. But I understand DeMar DeRozan was just crazy the year before, and he was crazy last year. But still, DeMar DeRozan is still better than those guys under him. I would probably listen if you want to persuade me, but I don't know, man. DeMar DeRozan has been so good for so long. I think it'd be pretty disrespectful to put them guys over him. So at number 8, we have DeMar DeRozan. At number 7, we have Chris Middleton. Now, I understand Chris Middleton dealt with a lot of injuries over the last couple years, and people probably forgot about his game. But I just want to let y'all know, Chris Middleton is one of the most complete players we have in this NBA, and I just think he needs his respect, man. I know he got hurt a lot last year, and it's okay to put some guys on over him, but like I think it's disingenuous, man. Chris Middleton's still that guy, still a very good player. He showed it last year in the playoffs, and I think he's going to show it again this year if he's fully healthy. And I'm just going to respect Chris Middleton, man. He is a player that is very good at a lot of things, not elite at nothing, but like very good scorer, very good shot creator, very good playmaker for his position, and I do think he's a pretty good defender. But he's not elite at none of those things. That's why I really can't put him higher. But for his position, Chris Middleton is one of them guys, so we have to respect him. You cannot put names like Andrew Wiggins and Mikal Bridges over him. I think that is very disrespectful, especially because he's a champion and he balled on that level. So shout out to Chris Middleton. At number 6, we have Brandon Ingram. Now, I wanted to put him in the top 5 so bad, but I really couldn't persuade myself to put him over Paul George. But I do think Brandon Ingram is a top 20 guy we have in this league. I think he just had a career season, averaging 24 points, I believe, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, shooting 40% from the 3, which was very exciting for me to see. And I really do love that second half push he had when Zion couldn't come back and he kind of had to take the team to the play-in again, averaging 27, 7 and 7. And them last 2 weeks of the season, he was just dominant, averaging 30, multiple triple-doubles, even a triple-double with 0 turnovers. Like, Brandon Ingram was a very good player, man. I don't understand what y'all don't see in him. Like, I do think he's one of them guys. I think he's in that tier with the Donovan Mitchell, Trae Young, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I just think he's that talented of a player, and you really can't persuade me otherwise, man. It's not a biased take. I really want somebody to try to persuade me why he's not one of them top 20 guys. Like, I think it's disrespectful putting the guy. I hate keep talking about this, but like people who still think Jaylen Brown is better than him, you people is. I don't want to call y'all idiots, but like y'all crazy. But like I said, man, Brandon Ingram's right here. I couldn't put him over Paul George, and you'll figure out why. But shout out to BI, man. I'm very excited for his next season. I'm just praying. I'm praying like every other basketball fan should be praying that we can get him and Zion healthy together, because that can be a crazy duo for years to come. So shout out to BI, man. I have him as the 6th best small forward in the league. At number 5, we have Paul George. Listen, I've been wanting to talk about Paul George for so long. I even have a thumbnail in my archive that I just never used when it was supposed to be about Paul George. Listen, he might be the most disrespected star we have in this league. For people to compare him to Jaylen Brown and Anthony Edwards, and now listen, you know I'm the biggest Anthony Edwards fan on this world, but at this moment, he cannot fuck with Paul George. Jaylen Brown will never in his life be able to fuck with Paul George. So for people to even make those comparisons, for people to put him outside the top 20, damn near outside the top 15 is crazy to me, but for people to put him outside of them talk is wild. I don't understand. And I'm just starting to like believe that a lot of people don't watch basketball like they say they do. And I'm gonna be honest, it's hard. So like, but at least be honest, because it's definitely hard to watch 30 teams play 82 games. It's hard. But even watching them play half of those games is hard. But if you don't watch, let me know, because if you think Paul George is not a top 15 guy, your opinion, it don't matter. There's not 15 guys better. One of the most complete players we've ever seen in this game that's still playing at a high level. One of the best scorers, shooters, playmakers, defenders we have in this league. If you don't know about that defense, it is still there. Check the numbers, watch the film. It is still there. I don't understand. Like, I think it's disrespectful to put guys like Shai and Ja Morant over him. I just think it's wild. Because like they ain't been doing shit Paul George's been doing. They're not more complete players, better players than Paul George. Like, no, bro, they're not better at anything than Paul, other than playmaking. But they're not better at anything than Paul George. Paul George is a better scorer than both of them, defender than both of them, more complete player than both of them. I don't understand why y'all are so low. I'm seeing top 50 lists for Paul George in the 20s, late 20s at that. Like, what the fuck? What do y'all be watching? He's still the same guy. Yes, he dialed it back a little bit this season to play with Kawhi in like the 25 games they played together, but still, he is the same. Y'all have to watch. Y'all just have to watch. I can't explain this to y'all anymore. Y'all have to watch, because it's just crazy the list I'm seeing and the guys I'm seeing. When I seen somebody dead ass try to explain to me that Jaylen Brown is a better basketball player than Paul George, that's when I gave up. I gave up, bro, because it's really no point in talking basketball with a lot of people anymore, because people just be lying and just be dead ass wrong. But shout out to Paul George, man. I got him at number 5. Now at number 4, I have Jimmy Butler. Listen, I've always been a Paul George over Jimmy Butler guy, but like at some point I just gotta respect, like, once he sees the playoffs, he just goes crazy. I gotta respect that. Even though in the semifinals, the conference finals, and the finals, he was not that good. But that first round moved the hell out of me. So shout out to Jimmy Butler, man. I gotta put him right here, man. I do think they're still pretty even players, but like, we just seen Jimmy over the last couple years do it at some all-time level stuff that we just haven't seen from Paul George in a long time. So I just gotta give him that respect. But Jimmy Butler will be right here, and I do have a hot take about Jimmy Butler later on in this video. So let's get on to the rest of the video. At number 3, we have the greatest basketball player of all time, LeBron James. Listen, for him to still be this good at this age, the same thing with Steph Curry, same thing with Kevin Durant, for them to be this good at this age, it's something that, like, I understand a lot of people like to hate on them 3 players, but like, if you're a real basketball player, you just gotta watch it and like just be happy that you're in this time to watch these guys play basketball. The shit LeBron did last year doesn't get talked about enough. How he dialed his game back for AD to take the #1 guy on the team rings, and AD did do that, but at times AD kind of faded away, and then LeBron again stepped it up and became an MVP level player again. So for him to be the #2 guy going into this next season, man, we're going to do some crazy shit. But shout out to LeBron, man. It's not that much I can say about LeBron that y'all don't already know. That's why I'm like kind of fumbling, but still, like, LeBron hasn't really like declined. Like, he's declined a little bit. That's why he's at 3. But like shit, like, he's still damn near the same guy. Still the best player of all time. I don't think it's an argument. But still, like, yo, shout out to LeBron, man. I don't have nothing to say. Shout out to LeBron. Now, number 2, I had to put Kawhi, man. I do think Kawhi, like Paul George, had another very underrated season last year. I was pushing narratives. I deadass thought he was an All-NBA player last year. I understand. I believe he only played 47 games, so I understand that point. But Kawhi played at a very high level last year. The defense is not what it once was, but it's still a very elite defense. And the scoring was just crazy efficient last year. I believe he shot 42% from 3, which is fucking wild for Kawhi. I like said the F word on videos, but Kawhi Leonard to shoot 42%. Again, I'm gonna say it's fucking crazy. So shout out to Kawhi, man. Kawhi is still, I do think he's better than LeBron. I just wish, like everybody else, same thing I said about BI and Zion, if we can just get healthy games between Paul George and Kawhi Leonard along with Russell Westbrook, especially in the playoffs. If we get that, bro, we have a championship team. It was just, man, they done let us down, and it's not their fault. Like, Kawhi got degenerative knees. We could have seen it this season, and then we also could have seen it this season, but then Paul George got his leg hyperextended. Like, it's just always something. They could have been in the playoffs last year. Kawhi tore his ACL. Once they had a playoffs outside the bubble, they was damn near in the conference finals, and Kawhi tore his ACL. Like, it's just, I just hope one day we get one. I really do hope one day, and I hope it's this year, man, because they can be on something. But like I said, Kawhi's at number 2. So let's move on to the obvious #1, and that is, at number 1, we obviously have Jason Tatum. Listen, Jason Tatum in any other era would have been the MVP last season, but like, it's just not his fault that he played in an era where centers averaging a triple-double and another center's averaging 34 points from crazy efficiency, and then another power forward is averaging 33, 32, 11, and 7. Like, it's just not his fault. Like, any other era, I believe he averaged 35 and 5. That's MVP. But still, like, it's not his fault. But he played at an MVP level last year. He became a more complete player last year, and that's one that I've been wanting from him for the longest time. I've always asked it of him and Jimmy Butler, Jaylen Brown, just to become more complete players. One of them listened, one of them still trying to dribble with one hand, but still, shout out to Jason Tatum, man. I do think Jason had a really good season, and this is where the hot take with Jimmy Butler comes in. I understand that Jimmy Butler outplayed him this season. I understand that Jimmy Butler outplayed him in some part of the semifinals last season. To me, I don't understand how y'all think Jimmy Butler is a better basketball player, though. I just don't understand it. Because if you say, oh, and head-to-head, he beat him. Bro, what happened in that fourth quarter of the 2022 semifinals? Jason Tatum was dogging Jimmy Butler. What happened in that semifinals? I think it was the conference finals in the 2020. They was both dogging each other, but then one had a Bam, and then Bam was dogging everybody. So, and then what happened when Jason Tatum faced Giannis? What happened when, well, 2 times what happened when he faced Giannis? What happened when he faced KD? Like, you really can't tell me he don't show up in big moments. We just seen it. Game 7, I'm dropping 50. Like, you just really can't give me a valid argument why Jimmy Butler's better. I understand Jimmy Butler outplayed him this season. Last season he did too, but when the big moments showed up, who outplayed who missed the shot and who didn't, who hit that tough ass and one fadeaway and who didn't. Like, come on now. As a scorer, who's better? As a defender, Jimmy got it. As a playmaker, Jimmy got it. But as an all-around player, I'm giving it to Tatum. I'm giving it to Tatum. I'm sorry, I just trust Tatum in the big moments more. And yeah, I'm giving it to Tatum, bro. I'm sorry, you really can't give me an argument. If you want to give me an argument, I'm talking to one person. He know what I'm talking to if he got to this part of this video. But if you want to give me an argument, we can talk about it in the comment section. I'm not talking about it on Twitter. So let me know, because I don't see no damn argument, man. Jason Tatum's one of the clutchest players we have in this league, one of the most complete players we have in this league. And man, it's about time he gets respect. He's up there with Luka. I don't give a fuck what none of y'all say. He's up there with Luka. So shout out to him. So that wraps it up on my small forward list. Like I said, that one person who knows I'm talking to, if you want to talk to me in the comments. If anybody else want to talk to me in the comments. To me, I don't think, I'm not going to say it's not close. Let me say that. I'm not going to say it's not close. But I don't see a valid argument to say Jimmy Butler is better. I just don't see it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. Jason Tatum is just on another level. But that's it for this list. Power forward list coming out in a day or two. This probably going to drop Monday or Tuesday. I don't know. I'm recording Sunday, so I'll let y'all know. But other than that, man, I will talk to you guys later. Peace out.